And welcome to the Black USA News Doni Glover Show. We're here with the one and only Ervin Reid, Prince George's County, Baltimore, state of Maryland, politics. He does it all. Good morning, sir.
How you doing, Mr. Glover, my friend?
Man, how have you been? How you been dealing with the pandemic?
You know, Donnie, I try to be by myself anyway. So for me, it was sort of a blessing. Unlike everybody else, I like now. Now I don't need a reason to say, nah, I can't be there, I can't be here. But in all honesty, though, we've been doing a lot of. When I say we, I work with Calvin Hawkins, Council Member Chair Calvin Hawkins, and every week we're out feeding people. He's really big at getting business people donate food here, donate money there. So, it's been fun, man, actually going out in the community and just helping people out. Yeah. So now I've been enjoying myself. Hey, look, man, I'm just happy to wake up. At my age, you just want to wake up. So
You're a young man, Irvin. You make it seem like you up there. You're a young man.
yeah, well, I'll be 65 this year, man, and I'm telling the world because I want my all of my benefits that's due a 65-year-old man. So
When is your
November 15th.
at
Yeah,
the end of the year?
end of the year. Yeah, yeah. So no, I'm just I feel good. I walk all the time, and being in DC, I don't drive, so I'm always walking. So I feel really good. Yeah, yeah. But I'm not as good as you are though. But hey,
I'm just a squirrel in the world trying to get an acorn. I got to tell you, I told you offline, but since we got Martin right here, I got to put a plug in. Martin Mitchell started his show yesterday on this network, and they putting up Will Smith numbers, man.
wow,
His
wow.
first guest was Richard Deshae Elliott,
Okay.
brilliant young man, well versed not only in Prince George's but Baltimore too. But you know something about Prince George's in Baltimore.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. No, I know something about Martin Mitchell too. Yeah, yeah. He's up in. Hey man, these youngins down here in Prince George's. I try to stay on their good side, Dottie, because these guys, man, Prince George is in good hands for the future. Yeah, I mean they
Why
got.
do you say that?
Well, you got young guys that aren't afraid, and these guys are here we've always had this sort of like plantation system, and these guys ain't they don't care. They're not trying to be on the plantation. They're making their own ways. They're getting into office and they're speaking up. Yeah, they're not just getting in and just glad to be in the game. These guys are in there to make a difference, and Martin is most definitely one of those guys. Him and my man down in District 8 council seat. Man, I don't know why the name escapes me all of a sudden. Yeah. Oh man, why can't I think of? No, Ed Burrows. Ed Burrows, another one. That guy's a superstar. These young guys, man, I'm impressed. I'm proud of them. And like I say, this county, 10, 15 years from now, they got to hold on for about 10 years, O'Donnell. I'm gonna be around for about another 10 years, but yeah,
You
but these
don't know,
young guys are
man.
chock.
You might be 112, but so you've been in politics there in Prince George's since Wayne Curry.
Yeah, since 1990. Yeah, 4 years before he ran. He
So
was
that's 30
elected in.
years. You've
Yeah,
been 30 plus years. You come out of Baltimore, you're rich.
that's right. I'm raised in Cherry Hill. I'm rich.
That
Absolutely.
might went straight over some people's heads.
Yeah,
Raised in Cherry Hill. So you went from rich to the wealthiest black jurisdiction in the country, gorgeous Prince George's County. But in the process, you dealt with everybody from Perrin J. Mitchell to Wayne Curry and a heap of others. So my question is, in that 30 years, 30 years ago, you were the Martin Mitchell, Richard Elliott.
yeah.
There weren't a lot of people, is what I'm saying. There wasn't as many people engaged, involved in campaigning, knocking on doors, literature, strategy, fundraising, and the like.
Right. Correct. Yep. We were it. We were the young guys, and just like them, people told Irvin, y'all need to wait your turn and do this. No, our turn, we're gonna make our own turn. It was me, Calvin Hawkins, another council member by the name of Rodney Streeter, young guy that was at Bowie State at the time named Darren Swain, who became a House of Delegates. Yeah, so no, we were the young guys coming up, doing our thing, and made our noise. And one of the best things ever happened to me, I of course hooked up with Wayne Curry, and so we worked on his campaign for 2 years, and 2 years every day he and I were together, and again with Calvin and other folk volunteering, and then Wayne, when we ran against the establishment, that's when a young Mike Miller was around, and so they thought they had us. There were like the 9 senators. They had all but one. We only had Decatur Trotter, who's a senator there. We had only one of 27 delegates. And so I had to run a countywide candidate and also run against each senator in their district. And they just knew that, no one could beat the system. And, and everybody told us we couldn't win. And of course, when we did, that changed the whole trajectory of Prince George's County. Wayne was an unbelievable person, man. He was, the more he's gone, the more he's missed, because this brother was a fighter. He took the hits, and even though we won, he still had to then go deal with the state, with all the laws and all that came with that, with the FBI investigations, everything that came his way, the death threats, and but again, he took the hits and kept swinging. Yeah, so I was blessed to spend time with him.
One of the things reiterated up at Morgan, that's where I'm working on my master's. I guess I've been doing it for the past 20 years, but I plan to go back this year. But we talked about political economy.
Okay.
And that's the interrelationship of politics and economics.
Okay.
What I like in a Martin Mitchell is understanding that if these politics don't translate into dollars for one's community, then you're wasting your time.
That's true.
I see that in Prince George's. I've seen it more in Baltimore, but we should be so much farther down the road.
That's true.
We're struggling with issues like minority business enterprise. I don't understand how in a majority Black jurisdiction like Prince George's, like Baltimore, it should be a no-brainer. I mean, I see Wayne Curry, I see Marion Barry saying if these people aren't bringing back money, then why do you have them? I remember one state senator telling me they got $200,000 for an important Black institution. But I'm seeing other other institutions get $1 million, $2 million, but this Black state senator is happy that he brought home $200,000. I'm like, what's that? Five jobs that you pay for with $200,000 in a year? It's not a lot of money.
Right.
How do we get better with that interrelationship, making all of these political positions? Because we got people in all of the top slots. Why isn't that translating into economic empowerment for the Black community more?
That's a good question, Donnie. I just think, number one, you need people that are in office need to understand economics. And I think that might be part of the thing. And one thing I loved about Wayne Curry was a development attorney. So when someone walked into his office, Wayne understood that, okay, we got this development deal. I'm going to put in $100 million. But, what about the dirt? People don't understand that somebody's going to buy that dirt. Somebody's transporting the dirt. Those are contracts and things right there. Wayne understood how to break a deal down. So when he's talking to people, understanding that I don't need jobs. I need that dirt contract. Who's buying that dirt? I'm putting in this. So part of the thing is basically we need to understand put people in office who understand economics. Just like you need people in positions that understand law, and how the law works. So if you're trying to create laws that will help, the Black community, but you need to understand that as well. Too many times it's a popularity contest. And people, especially in Prince George's, it's been, you know, obvious. We had this ticket system, something that is totally different everywhere else. And I've always gone against the ticket. But, you know, people are just happy to be elected. And a lot of people just don't want to make waves.
Can you explain the ticket system?
Yeah, what happens, for example, when I was running campaigns in Baltimore, D.C., my candidate is running for council when against another candidate running for council. In Prince George's, when the county started to turn black, this ticket system popped up where all the senators got together, and then they would pick, you know, sort of put together this ticket that they would mail out, the official Democratic ticket. Yeah, it wasn't really official. And they would all come together, pool their resources. Then they would start picking people that they wanted to be. Okay, we're going to pick this person for council. We're going to pick this person for delegate. We're going to pick this person for sheriff, this, that, and the other. And so when you started to run, you had to run against the entire ticket. And so that system.
Or you had to pay to be on the ticket, I thought.
Well, yeah, you pay, but you pay. But no, they were going to pick who they wanted to be on the ticket. So if you weren't that type of guy, if you were that guy like a Wayne Curry that was going to make waves, then it's like, no, we're not dealing with Wayne because Wayne ain't coming in, and you're going to tell him, you know, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. He exec. He's going to do what he want to do. And so that's the you know, the system here in Prince George's. So a lot of people basically were just happy to get on the ticket, happy to be in office. You know, and it's not just black people, it's white people as well. You look at what's going on in DC, you know, with the whole Republican Party. People don't want to go against Trump because they don't want Trump coming after them. So let me go in and you know, okay, the insurrection was just a, you know, some type of, you know, misunderstanding and all of that. But a lot of people are just happy to be in office. And, you know, and so who wants to go in and fight that thing? Again, fortunately for me, I've always had to fight, you know, with Wayne Curry. We had to fight the ticket. Calvin Hawkins had to fight the ticket. Angela also Brooks, you know, history is rewritten as she's part of it. Yeah, but we had to fight the ticket with her. So that's the thing that, you know, when you get there, a lot of people got there based on someone else's merit. So they don't want to, you know, make any waves. So, I mean, but the community, it's, you know, it's funny. I was in a Uber yesterday, me and a young guy were talking, and I'm like, at some point, y'all, it's on us. We live in a state that's majority minority, but yet they drew the same districts where they're two minority districts. You know, none of that passes in Annapolis if black folk don't want it to pass. I mean, people trying to hold on to power, that's just a natural thing. No one's going to give it up. So we as a community need to understand that we need to elect those individuals that are doing out, bidding out, you know, doing our thing. So I don't even, it's on us at a certain point. At this point, we got enough people, like you said, in places, it's on us. So then if we don't like what's going on, we need to make sure that we put new people in there.
With Mike Miller gone, how does that change the game?
It's like the Middle East when Saddam died in Prince George's County. Everybody now is looking around trying to figure things out. Those people used to fighting. Oh man, they're going to be hard to beat. I could see some you know, long time incumbents going down. Ed Burrows, for example. Ed's a young guy, and Ed was on the school board, made a lot of noise. A lot of people didn't like it. You know, I'm not sure the politics and all of that with the school board and all that. But I look at people, you know, from a campaigning perspective. The brother won, and he was going against some really stiff competition. That brother got 72% of the vote, this young brother, because he's out there in the street doing what he's doing. These youngins, the Martin Mitchells, the Ed Burrows and all of them, man, these guys are used to going up against the system. And the system isn't used to fighting. They're used to being protected by Mike Miller. We're going to pool our resources together. Now all of that's gone. So people that aren't used to fighting, you know, they get the right competition. Yeah, you know, a lot of things can change in Prince George.
So a danger of getting on a ticket, you better have done your own road work, your own push-ups, your own beating on the heavy bag. Translated, you should have been knocking on doors, making phone calls, raising dollars, kissing babies, going to community meetings. Just because you're on a ticket, but you're saying those who were on a ticket, they kind of had an insurance policy.
Right. Now, a lot of them work. Now, not everybody on a ticket was, but a lot of these people, I call them ticket babies. They're just not used to that door knocking, that going out there, that struggle. When I campaigned, Don, I'm 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. Yeah, I'm gonna have a young lady. Her name is Roland Mayo, and she's running for sheriff. She's gonna be the first woman sheriff in the history of Prince George's County. Dude, I've been out there since last April, and we're out there in the freezing weather on the corners doing what we do. It's 24/7 with us. So I'm used to that. I know that she's not going to be on a ticket, or now what is a fake ticket or whatever. So no, we bringing it. Yep, and that's just the way we do. We Calvin. We started 2 years out. So people that are used to waiting 6 months to do this, Prince George's County, 500 square miles? I think Baltimore was like 98 square. Yeah, it's a huge county, almost 1 million people. So we've been out there working and humping. People aren't used to doing that. Yeah, when them Ed Burrows and them little youngins come, man, I'm telling you, they're coming to win. These cats, yeah, they ain't going to sleep. Yeah, so that's how I grew up campaigning. So now Prince George's this is going to be a fascinating election. Yeah, because the ticket is dead. Ticket been dead, really. It was sort of like the Wizard of Oz with Mike Miller. Mike hadn't been himself probably about 10 years. He used to have people he could put on the ground. He always had money, still had money, president of the Senate. Yeah, but now all of that's gone. So now, you don't have that money. Like you said, that insurance policy, Mike's coming along. And, everybody would put their hand out and go to Mike. Mike, can I be on the ticket? Mike, can I do this? But then if you do, you owe Mike. Yeah, so, he told Calvin Hawkins he couldn't win. There's no way in the world he could win. I said, okay, that's all I needed. I like Mike. Even though we challenged, he made me a better person. He was my Joe Frazier. So he was that guy that made me better, man. I knew I couldn't sleep when Mike Miller was in the game.
He seemed like a bully to me.
He was a bully. But hey, but you can't. I grew up in Cherry Hill, like you said, man. Everybody.
We got something for bullies. It's called an alley apple.
Okay. Yeah. I liked him because he made me better. I'm the political consultant that I am because of Mike Miller. I knew that, okay, I can't sleep. I got to wake up every day, like you say, and do the extra 100 push-ups. I got to do that. So I got to go tap, another 10 people when I don't want to.
I respect that. But at the same time, given the history of America, given how Black people are thrown crumbs and expected to be jumping up and down, given how much we sway any election, any statewide election. Tell me a little bit about redistricting. Martin and Richard touched on redistricting yesterday. I saw some effects out in Northwest Baltimore County and Randallstown. The question was whether you have one strong district or two 50-50 districts. And my grandma said you take a certain over an uncertain any day. I'm not sure there are enough Black people in Northwest Baltimore County to maintain two districts, and it's no guarantee. But if you got one strong district, that's more certain. How's redistricting in gorgeous Prince George's?
Well, they just had a situation in Prince George's County. The county council redrew the district lines. They have a commission or something that draws the plan, but the council itself ultimately decides how it's drawn. So the population here, the Hispanic population grew, I think, the most. And then the African American and the white population sort of went down. And so you had two districts, primarily white districts in North Prince George's County, the Laurel area, College Park. And most of the white folk were drawn into one district. And so there was a huge protest at the hearing. You had about 150 people testify, 140 of them were white. And because quite honestly, Black folk, though, we don't focus in on redistricting and things like that. And so, so it was drawn such that, most of the white folk went into one district, and then it became a major Hispanic district because they're all in sort of like that Western Hyattsville and in that area. And so then the courts, about a week or so ago, threw the plan out saying the procedure was wrong. And from my understanding, that the council they're going to appeal it, or are appealing it, saying that no, the procedure was correct. So there's some procedural issues as to was it done correctly. And I think they drew it the right way. What you're talking about, I've seen some stuff up in Baltimore County as well. But to me, right is right and wrong is wrong 24/7. And if the line should be drawn in such a fashion that represents the population, that's not the law. The law says, I think, has something to do with the Democrat, the party is just like in the state of Maryland, we're majority minority county. State. There are more people of color in the state of Maryland than white folk. But those districts were drawn to protect the individuals there. So we're going to have 2 African American or 2 black council people. You're going to have, congressional people. You have 6 white. But even though we're in a majority minority, I just think fair is fair, right is right, wrong is wrong, 24/7. And so it to me is not so much about keeping that power as it is drawing the districts the way they're supposed to be drawn. And so that's, I have an issue. I got an issue. I believe fair is fair, 24/7. Even if it's to my disadvantage, it should be fair.
10 years ago, when that map was put out there, let's see, 10 years ago, who's the governor? That was OMalley. We sued OMalley. I joined with some politicos down in Prince George's County, and we sued against the map. It didn't make it to federal court. It didn't win, but I was still pleased to be a part of an effort to hold a then Democratic governor accountable. Now, I've seen in these redistricting, and they talked about it briefly yesterday, when C4 was redistricted out of the loop, and they set it up for Verna Jones to take his spot.
Right.
I've seen redistricting wreak havoc. They gave C4 a district that went from West Baltimore all the way over to the deepest, darkest parts of East Baltimore. And so from a West Baltimore perspective, that's like sending somebody overseas.
Right. And what it does, Donnie, it basically, it hurts the people in there. You're trying to get people of like situation and circumstances so that when that person goes to represent, so if you got different people, like Kwaishi's district goes to Howard County, really? West Baltimore and Howard County? What bills are you working on? And like I said, right is right and wrong is wrong. I think Wayne Curry was part of that suit you're talking about 10 years ago. And what Mike Miller and these guys do in Prince George's, Mike didn't even live in Prince George's anymore, but he kept just enough to say I'm Prince George's, and they're drawing these districts. We had District 23, which is the Bowie area and all of that, and District 23 had an A and a B. So you had 2 delegates that are in B and 1 delegate in A. And A was sort of like the concentration of where the white folk was. That way you maintain a white delegate, in that area, and the other 2, everybody else, were black, the other 2 delegates. But now they couldn't do it anymore because it's too obvious. So now you got 3 delegates in 23, the 23rd legislative district. But they draw these things, and it's not fair. Fair is right and wrong is wrong. And statistics show that, people tend to vote for people that look like them. So if I'm black and I'm in a black district and I see somebody look like me, chances are I'm going to vote. So it's sort of like voter suppression when you do certain things. This whole Democratic Party and Republican Party, the Republicans are just obvious with theirs. But the state of Maryland is just as bad as Texas, the way they're redrawing these lines. But
and in other regards, and that's what kills me about Maryland and black leadership. For instance, if you want to be on the state central committee, the Democratic state central committee, you cannot vote for a Republican. Now, I don't have a problem with that if there were accountability on the Democratic side. But I don't see accountability. I see the same hierarchy from the past. And this is not a push for Republicans, but this is a push for accountability. In Baltimore City, a 9-1 Democratic jurisdiction. There's no accountability. All the Democrats cover each other's backs. And so when you ask questions, and so it takes a Fox News to raise questions that everybody should be obvious to everyone, like the failure, the gross failure of Baltimore City Public Schools. It's always this finger pointing. Y'all can keep pointing fingers, but we got 1.0 GPAs coming out of Baltimore City. So, for instance, Baltimore City will say, and Jill Carter put this statement out there, Senator Carter, Baltimore is underfunded. You got people on the other side that say Baltimore gets one of the top per pupil expenditures in the country. I don't care who's right. I'm looking at that 1.0 GPA. Whether you got the money, whether you don't have the money, why are we producing 1.0 GPAs? That's what I want to know. And who's going to find who's accountable? Because it's all it is. Even with the crime, it's pointing the fingers. It's your job. And then they'll get in there and say, I'm not responsible for schools. That's the state.
Right.
I'm not responsible for that. That's his job. I'm not responsible for crime. I'm not responsible for murders. I didn't kill anybody. One man had the audacity to say, I'm not out there shooting anybody. Okay. Who's going to do the damn job? And when are they going to get it done?
Right. Well, let me ask you this, Donnie. Are schools made to work? I mean,
you mean our parents holding them accountable?
No, I'm just saying you can't do a job that can't be done. For example, I've been in sales all of my life, and then I've been self-employed. Dude, I don't work, I don't eat. And sales, if you don't sell, you get fired. There is no, it's a system of reward. So we get rewarded for that which you do. I went to, when I quit my job in '89, I was a salesman in corporate America. And I decided, I'm going to spend a year to figure out what it is I wanted to do. And so I went to substitute at Cherry Hill Junior High School. I wanted to go back to my neighborhood and substitute. Dude, that was in '89. I could look around my room and say, that one going to be in jail, that one going to be dead, and this is going to be there. It wasn't designed to work. If I would send a kid because they didn't have enough teachers, so they pretty much gave me my class. I'm a substitute with my own class, degree in math, so I could stay ahead of the kids. That's not a problem, but I'm not a teacher. And they couldn't find enough teachers. And so they had these substitutes, and I pretty much had a class. A kid acts up, I send them out, the principal sends them back. Why she sent them back? One of the things she was measured on was retention of her students. So it ain't the system, it made no sense. I'm like, this kid is disrupting the class, but she's measured on, it's not about teaching. It's about getting these kids through school. So if it ain't designed to work, it ain't gonna work. Until we decide we want to teach kids, then we're not gonna, these kids ain't gonna learn. So then that was in '89. So when I'm watching, the situation with the Freddie Gray and all of that, yeah, these kids can't read. Now they're adults and they got kids. The system doesn't work. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to understand that if you push somebody through schools, that at some point they're probably going to be part of the criminal system. So, I mean, I look at stuff that, is obvious. People don't want to have an honest conversation. The conversation is, look, this don't work. Yeah, it don't work. Yeah, I grew up in Cherry Hill. We had great schools. Yeah, no, I loved it.
That's Ervin, you just nailed it. You and I came through these same Baltimore City public schools. And those teachers, now, I think Polly has some racism, some serious racism. But through elementary, through middle school, these teachers loved us. We got more love than they get today.
Right.
And no disrespect, but a young white lady teacher from God knows where coming to Baltimore City with no experience in an urban environment, or that little young black boy is a little too hyperactive. He needs to be on Ritalin.
Right.
That
right.
pre-drug addiction type of mentality.
Right. Right.
Not saying it's not necessary in certain instances, but I remember black teachers being more than just parents. I mean, more than just teachers. They were in your life. And I saw, we had a male teacher, Mr. Williams. He saved a few young men. He saved their lives.
Yeah, we had
had he not got close to him, yeah, they were going to the graveyard or the penitentiary, no question.
And we had Mr. Payne, same thing. Yep. No, teacher didn't send you to the principal. They sent you to Mr. Payne. Go see Mr. Payne. Yeah, and like you say, they had tough love. Again, laws were a little different because he could put his hands on you, and you couldn't go tell your mother because then she was gonna put her hands on you too.
See, right there, that part right there, hold that right there. We took, now this is the interrelationship, not just of politics and economics, but politics and education. So we took prayer out of the schools. There's a bumper sticker, a famous bumper sticker, said we took prayer out of the schools, now the prisons are filled. What I'm getting to, Ervin, is people who have influence over our politics but don't have interest in our well-being. They have a Department of Planning in Baltimore. All of the planners are white. They might have one black planner in a majority black city. So that means that we now have bike lanes coming to Sandtown. Yesterday, I saw signs of a bike lane coming through Sandtown. They don't ride bikes around there. They ride dirt bikes, but they're not pedaling no bikes.
Right, right.
How is it we are not in control of our own destiny? How is it we got black people in charge, but other people are making the decisions on how we live? Quite often, people who can't even raise their own children, because timeout don't work where I come from.
Right. With Doni, until we as African Americans, not just leaders, but we put the leaders there. If we don't like them, then we need to look in the mirror. Everywhere I go, people tell me, Ervin, white folk does. No, white folk ain't doing that. We the majority, that's on us. Look, I understand white people. I understand Donald Trump. Donald Trump has an agenda. He carries his agenda out. But it's almost as if we as African American need a white person to be an enemy to keep us going. Our enemy is us.
Yeah, a lot of times the enemy is us. And I'm talking about isms. I'm talking about I make more money than you. I live in Randallstown, and you people in Baltimore City, so on and so forth. That down your nose type conversation. Or right. I'm a AKA, I'm a Kappa, and you Omega, you a Delta. That isms. But the real one is that classism. That's the one that just gets under my skin. Having gone to Morehouse, having gone to school with some of the richest black people in the world, and then you come to Baltimore and you got a cat at Morgan State University acting like, his father's the King of England. The isms. Instead of us looking out for everybody.
Right, right.
We got this elitism going on in the black community, and it's sickening.
It is.
Because these so-called elite, their moral compass is so screwed they couldn't find their way to the bathroom.
Right, right. Yeah, yeah. I mean, we don't understand that we're only as strong as the least of us. And, people say, well, Ervin, things are getting better. No, they're not. They're getting worse. Well, Baltimore had 300 plus people shot 7 years. I grew up in Baltimore. No, that was Baltimore. I grew up in Cherry on the water. It's a great place to live. but the crime and all, no, we're going backwards. You know, we get a black president, you know, and nobody, you know, everybody love Obama. That's fine. What did he do? You know, what did he do? You got the Justice Department. You know, I'm talking about justice. Did he make sure there was justice? But y'all voted for him. Hell, if you voted for him, you're part of the problem. That's what I'm saying.
You didn't vote for Barack Obama?
What's that?
You did not vote for Barack Obama?
I did the first time because I wanted to see a black president. But the second time when he ran, he never said what he was going to do for me. No, I know. Look, what you doing for me? That's all I need. If you ain't doing nothing, I mean, don't be pointing about we can't afford this. Nah, what you doing for me? See, we got to get out of that mentality. Well, we can't afford to have Trump. Hell, you can't afford, a lot of us can't afford to have Biden. We got people in jail for marijuana. Come on, y'all, for marijuana. It's legal, you know, a lot of places. And we're still doing prison time for a nonviolent crime with marijuana. Come on, they need to get out of jail. No, so if you ain't doing that, then don't come looking for my vote. I'm not, dude. It's like, what's in it for us? That's what I'm saying. At some point, it ain't about Trump. It's about us. And it should be all, yeah, everybody gets into office and look out for their own, but us. Then, you know, people tell where Ervin, he represents the entire country. Yeah, so does Trump, so did Bush, so did Clinton, so does everybody. But what about us? Yeah, so no, but I'm just saying, if you voted for him, look yourself in the mirror. If you got a problem with kids killing them, look yourself in the mirror. Yeah, we got to get into a thing about us. I mean, I'm out in the streets all the time talking to people. I talk to people, say, Ervin, I'm voting for Trump. Yeah, and then I go in and watch these shows. I can't understand why black people would vote for Trump. That's because you ain't talking to people that vote for Trump. Yeah, go talk to them. They'll tell you. Yeah, they're tired of being, you know, being messed around, getting picked up, getting picked on by it, going to schools that don't work. So what the hell? If I'm going to do bad, I'm going to make you do bad.
We got new schools in Baltimore, right over here in Reservoir Hill. The Mosbys live a few blocks from it. It's called Dorothy Height Elementary Middle. 21st century school, brand new school, right there in the Reservoir Hill community. White Lot, Woodbrook and White Lot, Linden Avenue. But the young people in the neighborhood can't use the recreation facilities at the school. Black people on the school board have made this decision. Here in Sandtown, where Freddie Gray got killed. Back then we had 2 elementary schools. Originally we had 3. We're now down to 1. They're closing schools in the communities that need them the most, but they have come up with a rule that there are not enough kids in your neighborhood to warrant a school. But yet these are the same neighborhoods where the murders take place. You think there might be a correlation? And see, let me share something else. You were in New York recently visiting who?
My daughter.
We got a lot of politicians that ain't got no damn children, and so they don't really have to live with the effects of their damn legislation. There, I said it. You got a lot of people who don't have children making laws for people who do. There's just something fundamentally obscure about something like that. Because they don't know. They don't know. Like these bike lane people. Ain't nobody going to pick up their kids on no bike. So when you got bike lanes all over town, it slows down traffic for a bike that's not even there. North Avenue, single lane traffic. North Avenue, brother. North Avenue.
Wow. Okay.
Druid Park Drive, single lane traffic going one way.
Wow. Okay.
This is the shortcut from east to west. But these liberals, whoever the hell they are and wherever the hell they live, have gotten Baltimore all messed up. We got a subway system. I hear people keep talking, we need the red line, we need the red line. Let me tell you about this subway. It's the dumbest piece of mass transportation in America. It goes from downtown straight to Northwest Baltimore County. It is not egalitarian. It is not utilitarian. It is stupid. The Nowhere Highway. They knocked down an entire West Baltimore community. And there's nothing there.
Is that Route 40?
The part down there on Franklin Mulberry Street before you get out to Route 40.
Okay.
The Nowhere Highway. Knocked down all of them houses, got rid of all of those communities. Down in Prince George's, what's happening with the exodus or migration of people to Southern Maryland?
I think a lot of people, and I don't know, again, how big that is, because, you know, Prince George's is growing. Like I said, I think it's like 950 something or 75,000 or something. So it continues to grow. But I think a lot of folk that wanted out of Prince George's because of crime, because of the schools, you know, then just started to hit Charles County. So the further out they go, you know, then the better, I guess, the education and all of that. But I mean, Prince George's is, you know, the inner beltways, which were normally your you know, your lower income areas with most of the crime. Now you got parts of there. You know, a friend of mine's a developer. He's building $1 million houses inside the beltway. DC is pretty much a done deal. And, you know, trying to buy a house in DC, and we border the DC. So those neighborhoods, the Capitol Heights, which is a black neighborhood, you're starting to see white folk move back in because the homes are gorgeous. You know, the brick homes, you know, all brick homes, things like that. Capitol Heights, District Heights is another gorgeous community. So you're starting to see the revitalization of those areas. So Prince George's it's an interesting, you know, phenomena. I mean, unlike, you know, every jurisdiction in DC, everybody built around the subways, and Prince George's never did that. But now you're starting to have these subway communities being developed and all of that. So it's Prince George's isn't like, no, it's a booming place to be. It's changing, and for the positive for some. Unfortunately, schools are still what they are. But no, Prince George's, from that, it's a great place to be. Yeah, especially that inner beltway, those inner beltway communities, they have a ton of potential. And they border, like I say, DC, you cross the line, you're $1 million houses. Now they're starting to, you know, and again, they're just gorgeous neighborhoods.
Ervin, I want to digress for a minute. We are now in the Metaverse.
Okay.
This show is airing on STEM City USA. Dr. Tyrone Taborn put it together. And I say that because you are a noted mathematician.
I don't know if I would use noted, but yeah, my professors know who I am. That's about it. Yeah.
Are we ready for the next level? Science, technology, engineering, math in the state of Maryland. Are our young people ready for this metaverse?
I think they're the haves and then they're the have-nots. And the gap, as far as I'm concerned, gets wider as opposed to which closing the gap. Because when you have, you know, artificial intelligence and things like that developing, you know, algorithms and stuff for us, for people, individuals, if we didn't help to create those algorithms, then they won't benefit us. And let me give you an example. If, let's say I live in Cherry Hill, I'm a black kid and I like science. And let's just say that the Smithsonian has these special programs for kids and all of that. So when I log onto my computer, you know, because of the way a lot of these algorithms, if I live in Cherry Hill and they're assuming I'm African American, as opposed to me liking science, I'm going to maybe get a lot of sports stuff coming my way. Whereas if I'm a kid that's from Bethesda and, you know, and I like science and all that, I'm going to get these algorithms of putting information our way that makes sense for us, well, makes sense according to that algorithm. So we can get lost. A kid like myself who enjoyed math would not have the same benefit just by logging on because these algorithms don't benefit us. So technology is a dangerous thing that we have going on, and it's widening the gap. because those individuals who created that technology in the Silicon Valley or whatever, we ain't there helping them to decide, no, you don't want to do this, this, that, and the other. So no, it's a dangerous thing that's going on. And so if you just happen to have a parent or, you know, individuals around you that like science and things like that, then yeah, you could. But the average kid is gonna, you're gonna get, you're getting, the gap is getting further and further and further behind. Yep. So we ain't ready for this. This technology, man, it scares me what's coming up because, you know, I don't know. Did you see the movie Don't Look Up?
I haven't watched it yet.
Watch that movie. I always try to use examples when I run campaigns. For example, I tell people, you want to know how campaign work, the best movie I ever saw was Distinguished Gentleman with Eddie Murphy. That's it, man. You run people.
I like how they talk about stocks and bonds, but I'm not the biggest Leonardo DiCaprio fan. Why do you recommend this movie?
Because everybody that comes to me running campaigns, you know, they're on the internet. I said, get off the internet. Because Trump says something, everybody put, he's Trump. You ain't Trump. There ain't but 10 people looking at a site and y'all run around here with this internet stuff. But that movie shows you that, you know, part of it, they have, you know, a talk show with Tyler Perry and Kate Blanchett. And they bring on a hip hop star, and so then they show the ratings. Then they bring on people talking about it's the end of the world. These two scientists, people, when the ratings, you know, they can show the ratings are super high, especially when a boyfriend proposed. Numbers up, but with the scientists, no one's paying attention. So when you start running these internet, nobody's paying attention. Dude, get off there. Go talk to real people. That's why I stay in the street. But yeah, so I mean, it shows you what it is. You know, we got to get the website together. We got to, okay, whatever. But dude, go physically touch people. You know, it's you know, touching people. You know, that's a dying art. That's why these youngins, you know, they're hard to beat because they just stay in the street touching people. And but yeah, and you get to learn and talk to people what they really think, as opposed to what talking heads are saying. You know, well, no, this is what you know, nah. But yeah, so, but no, the technology is dangerous. The you know, this whole internet thing, it's fascinating. Now, it does help with certain demographics and all of that, but yeah, you're not gonna win no election. You know, not in Prince George's in the Black community dealing with the internet.
Have we made STEM as much of a priority as we should have? And I mentioned this, and maybe I should have just noted the backdrop that Baltimore City and Prince George's County have the two worst school jurisdictions, public education wise, in the state of Maryland.
Right.
Both majority Black.
Right. Right. Well, I mean, I think you also have two of the largest poorest demographics as well. Prince George's has a lot more poor kids than Baltimore, you know, because it's a lot bigger than Baltimore. And so that's part of it as well. From economics of it all, you would sort of expect that. But the state of Maryland could make a difference if we forced the state of Maryland to do that, because Maryland's a rich state. But, you know, nobody's trying to educate our poor kids. But again,
they're not, and they're going to come in a couple of months, June 28th, and ask me for my vote.
And are you going to give it to them?
Well, that's my next question. What do we need in the next governor of the state of Maryland?
We need a governor that has compassion and that cares and that want to make a difference. Like I said, Donnie, I think it was Arnie Duncan, I believe, Obama's Secretary of State. He said education is broken. He said it. He wrote a book. And education, it don't work. You can't. Why am I mean, I'm a teacher. Now all of a sudden, that's the other thing. When I had teachers in Cherry Hill, they taught. You know, sure, if a kid had a problem, you know, wasn't eating, you know, but and you know, back then, Donnie, if you went over your friend's house and they were eating dinner, you ate. It wasn't, yeah. So things have changed. A lot of these teachers are social workers now. They're police. Yeah, so our teachers taught. And so, I mean,
social workers back in our day, but they had more support. So now if a teacher tries to do that social worker thing, people trying to sue them. I mean,
right.
bro, they just ran a special. And again, Fox. That's why we need this Black USA and Be More News, our own media outlets. But they were highlighting educators where students are smacking them. Can you imagine somebody in your day smacking a teacher?
No, that wasn't, yeah. Yeah. Not with Mr. Payne in the school, it wasn't gonna happen. Yeah. But we had respect anyway. Yeah, so that, yeah, it's a different time. So you need a different way to do it. But I don't understand. It's just like federal government. I don't understand. They ain't designed, I tell you, it ain't designed to work. You know, Donnie, when I was in school, I worked for the federal government. I was on co-op. So I'd work a semester, go to school a semester. And they told me when I graduated, I was a GS5 while I would be a GS7. And then I would be a GS7, step this, and the path was on. I said, but suppose I created something that was, that was fantastic, unbelievable. Well, you still got to go to step. It's a system design. It went, look, dude, I went to go work for a private company coding. Yeah, and then I went to sales. No, I don't, yeah, dude, you got to get incentives. Yeah, if I'm in a school, I'm a teacher. And I mean, there's no incentive. I don't understand. And again, I'm not like most people, because most people I know don't want to be in sales and all of that. Hell, you're on your own, boss. You eat what you get paid. But if you got a system, I won't get paid anyway. I got a union protecting me that I can't get fired, this, that, and the other. I mean, then it ain't designed to work.
Hey, Ervin,
and we're looking, no, it ain't designed to work.
So you ain't give me no gubernatorial pick, but what's on your shirt there?
Oh, it's Calvin Hawkins. Re-elect Calvin Hawkins. Calvin is the chair of the Prince George's County Council.
Okay, yeah. So again, who do we like for governor?
Who do we like for governor? Well, I like who Calvin Hawkins like. So I'm Team Hawkins. So I go with Calvin go. Yeah, we're trying to do some things down here in Prince George's. Yeah, so yeah, we go. Laurelyn Mayo, she's running for sheriff. Talking to several other people that need help. I met with a young man yesterday that wants to be a judge. Pretty excited. Yeah, he's pretty exciting. So yeah, I mean, what I do a lot though, Donnie, I just try to work. Anybody that wants to come talk to me, they know my door is open. So a lot of people are running. They bring them in. Look, we need some professional campaigners. People that can run campaigns on a professional level. So I try to mentor as many people as I can. Yeah, but I just want to see.
The race is going to be interesting. Brooke Learman and Tim Adams. Right now, I'm seeing it looks like Brooke Learman is out campaigning Tim Adams up and down the state. That's just what I see. I could be wrong.
No, I think she's out campaigning him in Prince George's County, his own town. Yeah, she's got one heck of a team, and people like her. Yeah, I've said, man, I like her. Yeah.
Have you asked her about her position on Black business when it comes to the comptroller's role with the Board of Public Works? Because when we brought on this show, the answer was weak, very weak, very, very weak. Wasn't. I'm thinking Donald Trump. It was weak. It was very weak. Very, very, very weak.
Okay.
Not remarkable.
Okay. Well, I'll be honest. I was impressed with her. We talked about, Black businesses. We talked about, Prince George's County and the support that she would bring and all of that. So no, I was impressed.
Politicians like a guy trying to get next to a girl to get close to it. That's, politicians gonna say anything they need to say or she needs to say to get in that position. And we as voters, so, with just a couple of minutes, I need you to reiterate our role as citizens? Because we've talked about everybody else. Bring it on home. What is my job as Joe Citizen?
Okay. Your job is to first understand what a position does. See, a lot of times we don't even know what a member of the House of Delegates does, what they do, and how that works. So we don't know that. We're voting in the blind. So we need to know that, and then we need to know who these people are. Unfortunately, the biggest problem that we have in the Black community, and you said it, there's not enough Doni Glover shows out here teaching us. We're getting our information from CNN and MSNBC. To me, just as bad as Fox. No one's talking about our issues. And so until we start to understand and don't take things for gospel that we hear, I mean, okay, Trump ain't our friend. Hey, is Biden our friend? Yeah, I mean, who is our friend? We need to start voting for our friends. What made Marion Barry great was you knew what Marion was. You felt Marion Barry. Too many of our citizens, they don't feel this government. And so, yeah, but it's our job to not complain, but look in the mirror. So if you voted for somebody and your situation ain't getting better, then vote for somebody else. And people say, well, we don't know. And sometimes you got to let people know. When Biden was running for office, we put Biden in there in South Carolina. We made sure Biden got it. No, but you don't then you negotiate at that point. Okay, at this point, now we ain't waiting to get our vote. Then let's go talk to Bernie. So as citizens, it's our job to know who we're voting for and what they're doing. And until we do, then we're going to be in the position we're in. But it's time. We got to start. We got enough people in places to make a difference. We put them there. So if they're not making a difference, then, hey, look in the mirror. That's all I can tell you.
Ervin Reid, we appreciate you. I think the world of you. You've been a solid big brother, a soldier, a teacher, a mathematician, let's not forget. You love the state of Maryland. You keep it honest. You keep it 100. And on behalf of Martin Mitchell, Richard Elliott, we thank God for you.
Oh, no, look, man, I just, like I said, I had mentors. My mentor is Larry Gibson. And Larry Gibson took my game from one place to deep up in the sky. But understanding how this thing worked and working hard, like I say, thing I love about people, you go talk to them, they'll tell you. Yeah, so, yeah, but nah, I just try to do what I can do, man. But we need more shows like yours. People need to hear a different voice, a voice in our community, someone that's not afraid to say what needs to be said.
Well, if you have any of them, send them to me and we'll set them up with a show.
Okay.
Ervin Reid, we appreciate you. Have a powerful morning. Next up is William Honeyblue with the BlackUSA.News Morning Show. My name's Doni Glover. Good morning, world.